now, if you look at most adverts or films coming out of Hollywood, the father is portrayed as a fool, like Homer Simpson or worse. And the wife is the competent head of the family. So they can't just subvert, they have to actually invert. That's the end goal. And that's the distinction between Luciferianism, which is the challenge to legitimate authority, the challenge to order. And then Lucifer becomes Satan after that and actually inverts it. So the ultimate goal is man as God. And transhumanism quite explicitly aims at that. You've mentioned it there in connection with NASA. Julian Huxley, brother of Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, wrote New Bottles for New Wine in 1957. And he said that he believed that through the biological and social sciences, man can control his own evolution and is suddenly appointed, this is his phrase, managing director of the biggest business of all. So man's in charge now. We can control the future, and the elites, the technocrats who are running the show can then impose their vision. So it's man made in the image of them.
Absolutely, yeah, because they're the ones imagining, again, what their goals are. So it's their own image of themselves, and then they project it on to these systems. Let's say even today, like mRNA. It's not about like, oh, stop sickness. No, it's about directing your own biology and crafting and treating yourself, your body, as an operating system, and getting updates and infiltrating it and inverting it, like Tesla dude, Elon Musk says, well, we can change people into a butterfly if, maybe in the future. You're like, that's exactly what it is. It's illumination. It's being the light, the source of all knowledge of the body and mind and stuff, and accessing some sort of like connect a brain, universal mind even is really the end goal of that approach, which is, it's not just our singular bodies. They want to just skip ahead to the internet of bodies, the internet of all things, which would be the internet of the mind. And it's all like fantasy based, a lot of it, which is funny because we get spooked and scared and we start, spiraling into the defending and being like, you can't do this. It's important to understand that because they're always borrowing from truth and inverting, there's always a lie to what they say they're getting toward. Even if we can conceptualize it as something real, like even if you and I can go, well, yeah, I can see in their view that that's a possibility and that's frightening and gross and I don't like it. But like, I always encourage people, the moment they get fearful, their faith is gone. Like a reminder that we're not self-authoring suites. So ironically, to battle them, we're arguing that we're now crafting our own reality. And the battle is between man and man crafting reality. That's a trap, right? And I think their spiritual warfare, that side of things, actually tries to pull people into that ping pong game where it's two men going, no, I'm the creator of everything, and what you're creating is bad. And you go, why? And you go, I'm Christian. It's bad because of this. And then you're like, you don't realize you're actually also arguing to become God. And so that becomes a very interesting tension that I've seen with myself and these communities of like truthers and stuff is how much you participate in a game, a material game, that you're avoiding an outcome, but also admitting you're not seeking a material outcome, because that would then be inconsistent with the spiritual realm of knowing God, scripture, prophecy, where this all goes inevitably beyond our control and authorship. It's beyond us, but we're also we're constantly drawn into, well, I got to author the anti-author. I'm the anti-author of that. Bill Gates. I'm going to anti-author him. And you go, oh, it's a trap. But it's not like you don't participate either. So that's a question I don't even have the answer for. I think that's this sort of like constant seesaw that we experience in life of how much we submit and how much when there is to fight, and there are times to fight, and it's discernment. And that's where actually faith and humility comes in. It's that you have faith that you'll have the discernment, and you could be wrong in this process of battling good or battling evil with good, but also remembering, at least, this is fundamental to my core beliefs, is that the battle of good and evil is not flesh and blood. And when we talk about all this stuff, it's super interesting to point it out, to try to put sticks in the spokes of their wheels, right? I think that's appropriate to do. But ultimately, you can't rid the world of the source of where this comes from, which is man wanting to be God. You can stop some of the progress of man trying to become God, but you can't remove that element of human, because that's the fallen nature. That's our fallen state. And so it's I see people, at least, who battle this stuff, and rightly so, and we agree on a bunch of things, but sometimes I see them go toward, well, we got to do something about it and eliminate they go into this elimination phase where they're like, germ theory, get them, eliminate them, and then we'll stop it. And then we'll finally have our society that we want. And that's a trick. That's a devil's trick too.